Welcome back everyone to another Company Fierce 2 rebuild cast. And this time, we're gonna have a free v3 on Port of Hamburg. And it's gonna be sent in by Strucklin, playing as the Brits. His buddies are gonna be Folk, playing as the Soviets, and Nea Livace, or whatever his name is supposed to be. He's Brits, and he's AFK. On the opposing side, we are going to have Kuj, OKW, then Crackers as the Wehrmacht, going elite troops, and Giacomo di Castro, might be Italian, playing as the OKW. So, it's Port of Hamburg, and people are AFK, so that means it's going to be fun. Anyway, Port of Hamburg, you know the drill. Fuel points exposed in the center. VP's also relatively exposed, quite a few annoying buildings, not really that much of a room to deal with, and get some flanks off. And yeah, it looks like these poor infantry sections are going to get massacred at close range by these Stern Pioneers, so Strucklin already having a bit of an issue with, of course, the OKW, and the OKW, yeah, is going to capture that fuel point rather easily. But here comes the Vickers machine gun, which might be able to deal with those Stern Pioneers and, well, get some fuel for the Allies. Of course, because they had that one AFK guy, and because Folk went for tier 2 instead of spamming out a few conscripts or something like that, because he did that, yeah, the Allies are going to have a little bit of a disadvantage at the start. As you can see, the Germans getting to their buildings a little bit faster than the Allies, but of course the Allies have the MGs, so we'll see. Yeah, of course the first thing MG really starts to get some fired on those Sturm Pioneers, and the second MG also does that, and the third MG does that, but the third MG is getting flanked. These Volksgrenadiers are getting some good damage off on the Vickers. While the Vickers decides to turn, the Sturm Pioneers decide to approach and massacre the MG crew, easily forcing them back, killing them, and then these two poor infantry section dudes are also gonna eat it, probably from the machine gun crew, you know, stealing that machine gun. Very nice coup for our good OKW player down here, Kuj. And yeah, if the north and the center seem to be going the Allies' way, the south is definitely a German town right now. And yes, so Folk already picks shock rifle frontline tactics. Looks like a lot of these people are picking their commanders already. In fact, Vanguard operations for Strucklin. There's already a few people who already know what they're going to do. So for example, Strucklin might want to go for the Croc. And of course, Folk is going to get the IS-2. With Crackers probably thinking about the Tiger Ace. So lots of heavies in the late game, most likely. Which means that, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to see a Yag Tiger or two. No Yag Tiger here. Yag Tiger, no Yag Tiger, but there's the Command Panther and Sturm Tiger. So we kind of already know what these guys are probably going to pick. Anyway. Yeah, it looks like Giacomo di Castro is going to try to move in, but it's not going to work. Strucklin's infantry sections are just too strong right now. Too many rifles pouring down lead on the Sturm Pioneers, and they're going to go down. In fact, in the center, we have a bit of an outpost for the Germans trying to hold against the tide of Allied troops. And these engineers are not going to have any easy time because of the machine gun. But once these British infantry units approach, and if they can get some good fire on that MG crew, they can probably force them back. And yeah, it's not going to be looking all that good for our German players, although we do have a sniper around. Sniper plus these other units will try to defend the battle headquarters as it's going up for Kuj. So if that goes up, they're going to have a place to reinforce from. Then they can sort of protect this central area and move into the VP once again. But one problem for the Germans is that the Allies have a resource advantage. Well, why do they do that? Well, of course, they have more points on the front line, but the Germans have forgotten to capture these 3 points. So that's quite a bit of income that they're losing out right now. Bit of a mistake. In fact, they're now sending these units in, and that's pretty fine. Boom. Exploded. So there goes the Universal Carrier. And yeah, the right side seems like things are not going to be looking all that good for Nea Livace. And yeah, he's gonna need to get some vehicles out. I mean, he's going for the Bofors. That's a bad idea right now because, of course, the Bofors is useful when you have something to defend. But if you have nothing to defend, yeah, it's not going to help you in pushing and getting your points back. So right now, the AEC for him would have been the better choice, to be completely honest. And his buddies, well, I mean, Fulk has tier 2, so he's relatively safe from anything. He's been taking some casualties, though, because he's only got, like, 2 or 3 units that aren't engineers, which is rather surprising considering already his enemies, you know, 3 Sturm Pioneers for Giacomo di Castro, and all of them are more expensive than these units. So yeah, Folk has been taking some losses. Looks like we have an incendiary grenade attempt. It's not going to work. Sniper is around, so this anti-tank gun crew is in trouble, very, very, very big trouble. The Sturm Pioneers will likely be able to finish them off, or they will get out. Wow, that was incredible negligence on the part of the Germans. They should have probably chased that crew down and tried to kill it. And then either tried to salvage the gun or steal it. But that was very sloppy on their part. And so this is going to allow the Allies to still have that AT gun in case the Germans go for any vehicles. Will they? Well, for now, it doesn't seem like Giacomo is going to get any vehicles out. But Crackers does have the tier 2. So he's got the option of going for either that STKFC half-track with a flamethrower or the scout car. Looks like one of the engineers will go down pretty simply, and the sniper might just get found out by the AC. AC gonna get quite close, and oh no, what's that? That's a German sniper. He's trying to run away, and I think he doesn't even really have much in his path. Wow! Really? That was a one-shot. That was hilarious. Anyway, AC armored car. I guess already paying for itself, killing that sniper. And right now, yeah, we have the triple infantry section plus machine gun combination of course, Struckland. It's trying to move into the central area that's commanded by this MG in the building. But the MG in the building will have a bit of trouble because of the AC. The AC is going to take a Panzerfaust from those Grenadiers. And that's probably not going to do really all that much. It can be repaired by this combat engineer squad. And here comes the British infantry, which is going to get suppressed, of course, by the MG42. If the MG42 can deal with the Vickers machine gun, there's going to be nothing that can stop it, of course, from suppressing and destroying all these other infantry sections. So I would really suggest Struckland to get out of dodge as quickly as possible. He has managed to get in a bit of a distraction, but not really that much. Anyway, yeah, the AC is on the field, and so this 222 is kind of a surprising move. I mean, it's countered by the AC, so why would you go for a 222 right now? I do not know. Maybe they're afraid of a British sniper or something? I really don't know. Anyway, the AC is probably gonna not have that much of an issue against the 222. Yeah, 222 just does not have the firepower, and it tries to pop some smoke, but AC pushes through rather easily, and here comes the finishing off shots, and he's gonna die. Shock troops, along with the AC, can now move on and deal with these German troops in the north, while the center gets held down by that machine gun, that Maxim doing quite well. And there goes one of those squads from the grenade plus the Papa Shah fire. However, yeah, 3 Sturm Pioneer squads versus 1 shock troop, probably not the best idea. Run away. And in the south, we still have a bit of a stalemate. Of course, we have a... Oh, he's building a mortar. Okay, that's a decent decision. That's going to allow him to bombard that building and force away those defending units, especially considering how passive they are on the right side. Of course, Kruj, quite nicely actually, has decided to switch from the right-hand side to the center to try and help out his allies, while his opponent was kind of busy recovering, and so now he can get some pretty good results done, forcing away that mortar. He's got some Fallschirmjägers coming in, but unfortunately the Fallschirmjägers are eating lead from these shock troops, so they're going to have to escape as quickly as possible. Volksgrenadiers, which are now going to die as well. And the Sturm Pioneers also probably in a bit of a bad way. Here comes a smoke run from, of course, Luftwaffe ground forces, but it's not going to be enough. I mean, these shock troops at close range, they're going to have the advantage, and yeah, these Axis forces are going to have to escape as quickly as possible if they don't want to get wiped. Although, The Stern Pioneers getting some nasty damage. Grenade. And that was a lot of damage. Probably could have stayed there and won that fight. Anyway, in the north, we have Giacomo Di Castro trying to push up, and he's going to have those Panzerschrecks in operation against that AC. That's a good thing, but he needs some Arcanniverfers, to be completely honest. He has 430 manpower. Not sure why he hasn't gone for anything of the sort. In fact, he loses one of the Stern Pioneers. Luckily for him, it wasn't one of those with the Panzerschrecks, but still, that's a big loss, and he needs those anti-tank guns to protect himself against the AC, but also against possible later vehicles, such as Cromwells, of course. Also worthy to remember that Folk, as you can see, has gone for the Tank of a Battalion command, so he's going to have T-70s at his disposal very soon, and his buddy over here, Neo Livace, is going with Company Command Post as well. So he's also moving in. Thanks to the help of that mortar, he was able to clear out that machine gun and those Volksgrenadier squads and recapture his VP and fuel point, thus giving the Allies a resource, not lead actually. That's because the Germans are pushing in quite aggressively. But yeah, still, after the Allies take this fuel point over here, they're going to have the fuel lead. And of course, they have the VP lead at this point if they can capture this Western VP. Even though Strickland has just lost 2 infantry sections and a machine gun, so that's not good. There goes the 8. Wait, the 222 was still around. That's funny. And is the Bofors going to come up? Well, forward assembly. I'm thinking that the Bofors will come up. Otherwise, if he doesn't build a Bofors, he's going to have wasted 100 manpower and 15 fuel. Oh, the AC. Oh, the AC. He moves in and finds these stormtroopers. The stormtroopers decide, hey, I'm going to get out on the other side of the wall because I don't want to fight that AC, which is a bad idea because they could have probably killed the AC. Nice grenade. And now the Allies can push into the center. Of course, there's this problem, this MG42, which has been just such a terror against the Allied forces. Nothing has been able to stop it, and here comes a Stuka. On the south, this could be very, very bad. In fact, one squad already gets wiped, and the, of course, machine gun is dead. So well done. First Stuka barrage gets 2 wipes, and that was a nasty display of firepower. Right now, of course, because of the Vickers being decrewed, the Volksgrenadiers are going to have an easy time taking that under custody of Germany. And, well, where's the Wehrmacht player? I only see OKW on the field. Well, the Wehrmacht player has, of course, only got the machine gun, a grenadier squad, and a stormtrooper squad. Finally going for a support armor corps. He needs to really pull his own weight, because right now it's a 2v3. Well, kind of. Yeah, mostly a 2v3. And his allies need some help, to say the least, I guess. Maxim getting some suppression. Grenade comes through. Although a nice smoke run is going to prevent the machine gun from firing. At least the shock troops can get in close and just burst these guys down. Can they finish them off? No. Well, okay, finally. They managed to kill that Volksjäger squad. But they run into a lot of Germany, and they're going to have to escape out of there. For some reason, there's an SWS supply half truck over here. I'm not quite sure what it wants to do. Probably set up a Schwer Panzer headquarters around here, but it's a very bad idea. It's going to be in a rather indefensible position. Like, the Allies can just kind of approach this area and destroy the Schwer Panzer headquarters if he builds it indeed over there, which might not happen. The sappers are trying to use their little tiny demo charges, destroy cover, but it's not working. And yet another Stuka. This honestly looks like the AI is playing, because he's using the Stuka smoke pretty randomly, to be completely honest. That's usually something the AI does. Players generally just kind of forget about it. Squad at full strength, so we have a bit of replenishment going on in the Allied base. Strickland is up to 670 manpower. We have a big howitzer firing, I think. That's the Brits. That is the British artillery from the base. And it's coming down on the mechanized regiment headquarters, but it's not doing anything really, because it's too inaccurate. Anyway, in the north is where the real fight is happening, and of course the vet-free Maxim gets yet more veterancy by just massacring all of these Stern Pioneers. Why doesn't Giacomo Di Castro build I don't know, a support gun, a Rakenwerfer, anything, some support weapons. He needs some help. But no, he's going to send up his Schwerpanzer quarters and build it in the most probably exposed position in the whole map right now. It would have been even better to build it over here or over here. But instead he decided to build it in such an exposed position, and that backfired immensely. So he's not going to have an easy time now that he has lost that fuel that he spent on that Schwerpanzer quarters. So not good for him. Looks like the Allies are starting to get their own defenses in place. So we have fort assemblies on either side. More smoke coming in. And, well, Struckland could go with the glider HQ. Or, sorry, the forward logistics glider to use to Company Fears 1. Anyway, he can go for that. Get himself the air landing officer, getting himself that, you know, commando squad. And then, I guess he's got a few, you know, tricks up his sleeve. He does have the company command post constructed. The problem is, his AC is just kind of derping. He's going to try to get a point-blank engine shot. No, sorry, target tread. And that, of course, does a little bit of damage. Gets a critical, but unfortunately, the Panzer IV is... Ooh, immobilizes the P4 temporarily, and then uses that smoke to get out. Very, very good play on that AC's part. But unfortunately, the infantry section will die, so there is the end of another infantry squad for Struckland right now. And yeah, the AC is also going to die to the Panzerschrecks and Panzerfaust of those Volksgrenadiers. So overall, things are not looking all that good for our allied players, but they're still pushing up. They still have a decent foothold in the center. We have a Katyusha barrage coming through on all these Volksgrenadiers. That's not going to be looking good once it's over. And actually, Nealivace is pushing in, massacres all the engineers that were protecting the mechanized regiment headquarters, and now with the Piats, he can destroy that rather easily. But, oh no, move! No, move! That was underwhelming. No! You could have killed it! At least retreat only the squads that don't have Piats. No! Of course, there was this Vickers around, so I guess they should have retreated anyway. And yet another Sturm Pioneer dies. Why doesn't Giacomo di Castro go for anything that's not Sturm Pioneers? Well, he's going with a Volksgrenadier and an Obersoldaten. Still feel like some support weapons would be quite useful for him, though. At this point, even a machine gun would be pretty useful because he's facing such a massive infantry superiority after he has lost all of his infantry. So at this point, it would be in his interests, really, to go with at least one of each, you know, machine gun, Rakenwerfer, support gun. They would all be relatively useful at this point. And he had the manpower, but then he decided to spend it on other units. I really don't know. I really don't know. Does he have at least tier 4 set up now? He does, by the bridge. So he at least has the option of going for P4s, which might be what he wants to do against such a British player that's focusing so heavily on that infantry play. Missed. Really now? Tries to throw the anti-tank grenades, no, not the anti-tank grenades, the incendiary grenades at the mortar. Fails, epically. At least he can get a grenade off on the forward assembly. I mean, he's trying really hard to kill these British buildings. I think the forward assembly is gonna die, but yeah, here comes the British infantry to back up, and a Fireflies around for Nealivace. Afraid of vehicles, although, to be completely honest, he knows that there's a Stuka, so he knows that, you know, vehicles are delayed by at least 100 fuel. That being the price of the Stuka. And in fact, Kuj is likely going for the KT. He has all the buildings built in his base, and so he's gonna go for the tier 4. He's gonna have all of the trucks set up. Probably going for the KT. I don't see another option for him. Folk not really going for KV Flamers. He has a couple of Katyusha, but not really a lot of damage. Definitely not as effective as the Stuka has been. And yet more Sturm Pioneer and Elite Infantry spam. God damn it, you need to diversify your forces in some way. You can't just send an infantry and expect it to win. And right now it seems like in the center, yeah, the shock troops found that to their detriment, as they were completely crushed by the P4. Where is the anti-tank gun? I have no idea what is this AT gun doing? Why is it not firing? Okay, finally starts to fire, and it's a little bit too late though. It's a little bit too late, unfortunately. This the P4 will slip away. Strickland's going for a Comet. I think that's a good idea. Especially now that he sees a second Panzer IV on the field for Crackers. He knows that his opponents are really going with a few medium vehicles, and they're also likely to have some bigger stuff in sort of reserve. So, to be completely honest, getting the big advanced medium tank is going to be just a good option regardless. Whether they go with more low-tier armor or they just make the jump to the KTs and all that, the Comet is going to be useful. And so Strickland gets a decent move with that. Of course, he needs to replenish his infantry, to be completely honest. He needs some anti-tank guns. He needs some extra infantry. I would say those are the main priorities for him right now, because it's good and fine to have a Comet, but it's even better if after that Comet you can bring in your infantry, bring in your anti-tank guns, and defend the areas you take. In the south, the Firefly is moving in and trying to destroy that mechanized regiment headquarters. For some reason, there's almost nothing defending it. The reason is that they were all forced back to base by one infantry squad. So things are not looking all that good, and that's going to do some friendly fire. Yeah, that would... Oh my god. That was obvious and a half, but oh well. Fiokesh is dead, and here comes the Stuka. Oh no, never seen this one coming. Probably over here. Yeah, it does some damage to those infantry sections, but it does kill a sapper, so that's not good. There goes the mechanized regiment headquarters, and right now it seems like the Germans are trying a bit of a push in the north. These German players are playing free 1v1s, to be completely honest, whereas the Allies are supporting each other a little bit more efficiently. Though not as much as they could be, they're at least trying, and this is giving them quite a bit of an advantage. Imagine if, along with this Panther, these two P4s, or one P4 as one of them is already dead, imagine if along with this Panther, one of the P4s would have pushed up from the flank and tried to get around these Allied forces. Well, it would have definitely been a little bit more successful. But right now, yeah, it looks like things are not going to be looking all that well. We have a Stuka close air support coming in, but it's not going to be enough. In fact, it's not a Stuka close air support. That's a Forschmeger assault. So the Comet is going to push in, do some damage to the Panther. Still pretty dangerous to be there if you're the Comet. Here comes also some British airstrikes, forcing away that Panther with rockets and fire. And right now, it seems like the Comet will not decide to chase across the bridge, probably due to you know, the Schwerpanzer quarters and the danger of a lot of anti-tank being around, which, to be honest, was there. Here comes the Stuka close air support, but it almost kills it. Doesn't quite get the finishing blow, and the Comet is gonna retreat back to safer waters. In the south, Free Katyusha are firing in on that battle quarters. Not really getting a lot of hits. They're firing from maximum range, which is never really the best idea. But Kuj doesn't really care, as he does have the KT. He's got the Stuka. Is the Stuka firing a counter battery strike on those Katyusha? Yes, it is. It might get 2 kills. Very, very good. Almost gets a third one. That was almost just so perfect. But it was very, very good nonetheless. Gets the kill on 2 Katyusha. That is never a bad thing. And the Allies will soon miss those big, giant artillery rocket launchers. Especially as this KT approaches the field, it's going to need all of the support it can get from this German infantry. And so the absence of those Katyusha is going to be felt rather greatly. Sherman Firefly takes some nasty Panzerfaust fire from those infantry squads, but unfortunately for it, it's going to meet a bit of a deadlier foe right now. The KT is coming, and it's not running away. No, get out, please. Get out, Firefly, but it's not nearly fast enough in getting out, and so it's gonna die. And that's going to leave the Comet 1v1 against the KT. Never a fight you want to pick as any one ally tank from the front. And so, of course, that Comet probably will have to escape. In the north, yeah, a bit of a push attempt from the Germans is not going to be going all that well, I don't think. Anti-tank gun plus lots of allied infantry, whereas there is no German infantry around to support these panzers. And so the divisional field gun plus all these guys is probably going to do a lot of damage to these German tanks. Comet plus the field gun facing off against 2 Panthers and 1 P4. Well, I mean, pushing up the Cromwell so aggressively might not be the best decision, but hey, at least it's doing something. It's being proactive, unlike what the Germans are doing. Right now, the KT is moving into the south alone with no support. Of course, it seems like it doesn't really need any support, but it would be nice if this machine gun and this Verkenwerfer were to move up and support its push. Because, yeah, sure, it can do some damage to these infantry squads. It can do a lot of damage, in fact, to these infantry squads, but hey, eventually these guys are going to get some replenishment from the forward assembly, and they can out-damage the KT, funnily enough, as long as they get reinforced. So you're going to need the machine gun over here to get some suppression down on them. Combined arms, pretty much key right now. Crocodiles on the field for Struckland. And this beast is probably going to be very, very useful. In the middle, the Axis, I mean, they do have a couple of Panthers, but other than that, they don't really have anything that can counter that big, giant crocodile. And especially the crocodile is going to be good against these Panzerschreck Sturm Pioneers. And the reason it's quite crucial for the Allies to deal with them is that their other vehicles are not quite so good against the Panzerschreck Sturm Pioneers. So if they can get the crocodile in first and do a lot of damage against them, well, then that's pretty good. That's going to allow the other Allied vehicles a lot more sort of breathing space. There goes the Panther, killed by an anti-tank gun, a lowly anti-tank gun. That's why ATs are so strong. You always need to get some ATs, care for them, try to keep them alive and all of that. And people are gay. I'm not sure if you can see like the messages people are sending me, but right now, yeah, there's some funny things happening. Anyway, Crocodile moves across the bridge, which is a relatively sturdy bridge, but of course, they're going to try to deal with the Schwerpanzer quarters. They're getting kind of bottlenecked on that bridge, and right now, these German units on the other side, well, they're having a field day, a bit of a target practice. Of course, the infantry can't get too close because of the Crocodile, and here comes a nice Katyusha barrage, going to absolutely shred these infantry squads. But here comes a flank, actually. Panther plus Panther 4, along with a few infantry squads, which Crackers has finally brought out of hiding wherever they were, and they're doing some damage, but while the Crocodile is likely to go down, also the Panther dies, and if this T-34-76 comes in and helps out, then, well, the Panzer 4 is also going to die. Comet is trying to defend desperately the carcass of the Churchill Crocodile. Will the Panther be able to finish off both of these guys? Well, it's shooting at the Comet, and the Comet decides to withdraw gracefully from the fight. Perhaps not so gracefully, though, because it's leaving the Churchill Crocodile's corpse to die and rot. Panzerfaust will still hit the engine, and right now it seems like the Panther will decide to chase instead of finishing off the Crocodile and just counting itself lucky and getting out. And right now that's not going to be all that good. The Comet is getting some shots in, and also the anti-tank gun can get some shots in, but luckily for our German players, that's not really penetrating the frontal armor of that Panther, so they're going to have a little bit of an easier time at destroying this carcass. In the south, it looks like the KT has managed to clean up most of the British units. In fact, the Comet is dead, and it's also abandoned. What the heck is this with these abandoned this game? I have no idea. But yes, free Katyushas are back on the field, as we saw from that earlier massive barrage. The Germans will try to steal the Crocodile, and they have, well, those Sturm Pioneers are coming in handy right now. There's 2 Sturm Pioneers, of course, repairing this thing, and the Allies are being rather passive, so they might just be able to defend this thing as it repairs until it, you know, fixes the engine, heavy engine damage, which is preventing it to escape. And yeah, I mean, what is the overall picture? The overall picture is still a bit of an advantage towards the Allies, except in the south where we have the KT and the Veteran C4 Stuka with 47 kills. It all looks like the Allies have the advantage, especially when it comes to infantry and artillery. When it comes to armor, it's a little bit even, and looks like, yeah, it will not go in the favor of the Germans because the Crocodile is found, and now the Allies are going to have a field day with the Carcass, easily destroying it. Stukas counter-battering those Katyushas. Will they be able to hit? No. Although some damage is dealt to the T-34-76. Veteran C5 is obtained from that. So that's pretty good. But here comes the free Stormtroopers. G43s plus Panzerschrecks, not a combination I particularly enjoy. That's very expensive on the munitions. That is 115, and not for the best kind of combat performances against either infantry nor vehicles. Because it's only one Panzerschreck, and it's only free Gewehr 43s. Looks like one of those Stormtroopers will also go down in the fight, and the other Stormtrooper takes a lot of damage, probably will go down as well. Yeah, so very, very well for Struckland. Picks up 2 kills on enemy units, and this is a mistake. This is a big mistake. I'll explain a little bit more later. Doesn't look like much of a fight is happening, so let's explain it right now. Mr. Creekers had 230 fuel, and, well, not a lot of manpower now, but he used to have 1,000 manpower because this thing is 800 manpower. So instead of going for a Panther and then maybe a Panzerwerfer and then the Tiger Ace, he decided to get the Tiger Ace first, which is a bad idea because right now the Tiger Ace is unprotected, unsupported against a lot of different, I guess, well-rounded enemy forces, and without any support, it's probably not going to be all that effective. And now, of course, with the resource income decrease from the Tiger Ace, the resource income penalty, it's not going to be looking all that good for his chances of getting out any units. So, yeah. At least he can get some kills with the Tiger Ace, but we'll see. We'll see. Well, not sure how the Comet is still around there, but it's going to die. So the Germans making a surprise comeback right now, it seems. Comet is going to die to kill the other Comet. Never a good thing to kill one of your units to kill one of your units. And it seems like the other Comet up here, now Veteran C3, that's not going to save it, and it's going to die. Tried to get a nice smoke run off, smoke round off, and save itself, but it didn't work. It wasn't enough. And right now, yeah, there's a lot of damage coming in, and the Tiger is going to have a field day just blasting away at this infantry. Although the Tiger might be in trouble. Here comes some strafing support from the Hawker Typhoons, and the T-34-76 is trying to get behind it and at least body block it or something. Here comes also the IS-2. Main gun hit, and now with no gun to defend itself, yeah, it's very, very likely that these ally units can just kind of chase it down and kill it. Here comes the Ram, perhaps a little bit of overkill. Immobilization, but will not kill the Tiger, so of course the S2 is going to have to come in and bounce the shot. That is quite infuriating, I'm guessing, for our German players, or no, sorry, for our Allied players. It finally goes down, so no more Tiger Ace for Creekers, and wow, the S2 misses the Obersoldaten, even though it fired directly on top of them. That's unlucky. Misses the Volksgrenadiers. This thing is just missing in half. But at least the Allies take back their superiority, at least in the north. It seems like the Germans have lost their Panther. Well, no, they actually haven't, but they've lost their Tiger Ace. That was the most important unit on their side of the battlefield. And now they've only got the KT and the Panther left, so we'll see how they can make use of those. Whereas the Allies, as you can see, they have the S2, they've got a T-34-76. They may have lost one Comet, but they immediately replaced it with another one. Whereas the Tiger Ace, of course, cannot even be replaced. So, yeah, things are not looking all that good for the Germans, and that the more the game is progressing, the more the Allies are getting stronger. Let's speed it up a little bit. Massive Katyusha barrage. Does do some damage, but mostly just targeted at a building, which is unfortunate for the allies, because those things are much better at dealing with enemy infantry than dealing with enemy buildings. Push attempt from the S2 is going to be repulsed by a smoke run, funnily enough. KT attempts to move into the south, probably a good idea, but it needs support. Right now it does not have, once again, any infantry support, which is allowing this Firefly to just kind of firing on it with impunity. It does kill one of those infantry sections, but at this point, yeah, the KT needs some infantry support. Otherwise, the Firefly is just always going to be able to kite it. And if it can kite it, well, this KT is never going to be of much consequence to the battlefield as a whole. A half-track not having the best of days. I wonder what these guys are doing. They really need to push in and help out their allies. Like, once again, the allied coordination is a little bit superior to our German one. And it's not looking good for them because of that. Because you see what is happening. Like, one player pushes in alone, gets pushed back. Another player pushes in alone and maybe with like half of the other guys supporting him. And then they get crushed. So, to be completely honest, what the Germans should be doing is they should be paying more attention with how they're at least focusing their attacks, right? It's not even just a thing of getting themselves into a big giant blob. They might just want to know when their partner is attacking and when their partner is not attacking so that they can time the offensive to coincide with each other. To prevent things like this. I mean, these infantry units just a few seconds ago were in the center repulsing Kuj and this other guy over here, Crackers. And now they're able to come up here, bold as they please, and force away Giacomo di Castro's infantry. So that's not really looking all that good. I mean, it's pretty evident of just the lack of coordination, so they need to find some way to deal with that. And right now it seems like, yes, the S2 is pushing away the Panther, but it doesn't need to be all that aggressive. So the allies are probably just going to kind of stand around and not do much. They don't really need to either. They've got the VP lead, 309 to 99, and it's about to go back into the control of the allies, at least the right side one, soon. So the VP bleed is going to be once again in favor of the allies and against the Germans, probably not to their happiness. Ooh, nice stun grenade. S2 heavy tanks still in trouble, actually. And finally, a bit of coordination coming in from the Germans. Two Panthers working together against the S2. And oh look, it's working. And the S2 is probably going to die. Missed the last shot for the Panther. That one doesn't miss. Screen away fully. So it gets the kill. And the KT in the south is finally... well, it's finally gotten some infantry support. Not that much, but here comes also a nice smoking run. That's gonna probably force away the the Firefly. Doesn't want to get jumped on through the smoke. But he's gonna be relatively bold and stay there. That's a bad idea, to be completely honest.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
Comet tank plus the two Panthers. Just kind of a strange dance right now is going on in the north. However, the Allied infantry is just overpowering. As you can see, oh, nice grenade is going to come through and deal a little bit of damage, but still, that does not change the fact that the Allies have an infantry superiority, that they have overall a vehicle superiority as well once they pull them together, and they can get some good flanks off. There goes the KT. KT runs away because of the QF-16, or not 16, 17 pounder. And once again, the Allies have the VP lead because of their infantry advantage, because of their, well, better usage of vehicles as well. And there goes the Panther. dies to the shot of the other Panther. Katyusha are coming back on the field. Not really all that many kills. We have 6 and 10, so that's 16 plus the kills of the 2 Katyusha that died. So I really don't know those, but yeah, the Katyusha are coming back on the field. I wonder what they'll try to do, and well, I wouldn't want to be the Germans in this situation. They need to try to find some way to coordinate their efforts a little bit better, to push in as a team rather than as separate units, and especially they need to find some way to conserve their heavy armor. German heavy armor is expensive. You don't want to be wasting it, which is what the German players right now are doing, so they need to be more careful about this thing.
A new engineer section is waiting for orders.
This could be dangerous. Well, it wasn't very dangerous. Anyway, Panther charges in actually and is gonna wipe out one of the Stukas, or not the Stukas, the Katyusha. In its hunt, it can probably kill both of these Katyusha, but no, he decides to move in and fire at the Comet instead of finishing off these Katyusha for some insane reason. Looks like another Comet is gonna die in the south to another Panther, but the Panther up here in the north is gonna be forced away by these Piat units, and of course that was to be expected because the Comet and the Panther are not really made to charge in an enemy base like this. They need to use their range to their advantage. They need to find some way to use their mobility that does not involve running into an enemy base. To be completely honest, chasing down those Katyusha, if he had gotten them all, it might have been worth to lose that Panther because it would have given them much more leeway to fight through these VPs and get some, you know, much needed respite from just getting triple capped and over. But that's not what they ended up doing, and right now they're feeling the consequences. Nasty grenades coming in, nasty everything is coming in. Of course, a nice smoke run is going to be preventing them from doing too much. But once the infantry gets across, yeah, with all these upgrades that the infantry sections have, there goes the Stuka actually, that was the nasty one. And with all the upgrades these guys have, they will make short work of Volksgrenadiers. Panther tries to charge in and deal some damage to the Comet. The Comet is in trouble, but hey, will it be enough? No, it will not. And the Germans are down to 48 points, so ooh, it's not looking all that good for them. They need to find some way to capture these VPs, but it's not working. There goes the Panther from the Piats and the anti-tank gun, so that's well done, of course. Bit of coordination, bit of team play. And it doesn't look like the Germans will have any way of answering to this because they don't have any resources left. I mean, we have one guy actually with no resources left, the other two with resources, but they're not using them. Giacomo Di Castro. 2 Panthers on the field and enough fuel to build another one, enough resources to really get some units out, but he decides to build Sturm Pioneers instead of actual units. And his buddy up here, Kuj, lots of fuel, lots of manpower, so floating once again coming into play. Second KT is coming in. The first one looks to have died, and I mean, I don't think the second one's gonna really save him all that much, so I'm just gonna speed it up. I'm calling it for the Allies. Panthers try to move in. It's not enough because there's a machine gun over here. The Panthers can't deal with the machine gun. They don't have the anti-infantry firepower. They should have called in something to deal with this machine gun before pushing in. I mean, it's not like they didn't realize that this was here. It had been firing on them for a long, long time. KT moves up north, forces away that Comet, but in its place gets an anti-tank gun, and the Comet is back. In the south, we have a capturing attempt with the usage of smoke. It's not gonna go all that badly, to be honest. Thus giving the Germans a little bit more time to work with. There goes the Comet. But plenty more where that came from. I mean, there's one Comet, and I'm not really doubting that Schorkelin will go for a second one once the resources allow. Although the center has gone into German hands, and the north has been neutralized, partially due to Allied incompetence in getting their infantry at the good spot at the right time. What happened to the center guy, the Soviet guy, Folk? What happened to his infantry? I don't know, they're just kind of standing at base. That's a bad idea. He needs them in the front lines. He needs them defending these VPs. But he's not doing that. That's allowing the Germans more breathing space that they perhaps don't deserve. Big rocket strafe. Probably just going to keep these Panthers at bay. It does not matter to have these big vetted up Panthers once again because they're relatively unemployed. They don't have that many vehicles to shoot at, and they can't cap, they can't really do a lot of damage to infantry. So right now these Panthers fueling the burn a little bit. And perhaps going with more P4s and a bit more of a touch with the heavy tanks could have given the Germans a big edge. That's my general final verdict. Verdict. Floating, a lot of misplays with the heavy tanks, and the medium tank, I guess, purchasing orders weren't the best, to be completely honest. The Allies didn't really have as many pieces of armor as they perhaps could have had, so getting so many Panthers, not the best choice, to be completely honest. Just because it's higher on the teching tree, it does not mean it is better than another unit at one job or another.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
I mean, they're trying to move in, but at this point, yeah, things are not going to be looking good for them.
Basement is being attacked. Where the hell's that from? We've lost an anti-tank gun.
KT moves in the north, but it's going to be met by a lot of AT from the Allied forces. That's probably going to be enough. I mean, I don't see how this guy is going to escape. Here comes a Mills bomb. No, not a Mills bomb. Sorry, a Gamma bomb. Almost kills both the Obersoldaten and the Volksgrenadiers. It only kills the Obersoldaten, though, so that's fine. One more Obersoldaten unit kill. And in the south, the Crocodile from Nina Levace, who had, of course, what is this? Special weapons? No, it's not. It's Vanguard as well. But Vanguard all the time as well is, yeah, probably going to be enough to clear the VP, send some units down here, capture this thing, and put an end to the torture for the Germans.
New units are ready to deploy. All ready to go.
And the Germans are down to 13, soon 10. It's just not looking good for them. I mean, I've already told you what I think should have happened for the Germans to win, so I'm not going to dwell on it all that much. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you soon with some more replays. Have a nice day.